Now, a couple other things. The video. We said that this, what did we say, 5 or 6 minutes?
5 to 10.
5 to 10 minute video is going to be approximately 3 lifetimes long. First time you start making videos of yourself, you will realize lots of horrible things about yourself. Among which is that you can't say a complete sentence without stuttering or forgetting what you're doing. Now, a couple of people have tried putting placards across the back of the room so they could be talking to the camera and reading the notes, okay? This is cool, except when you're recording a video of yourself that you're going to give to someone else, you've got to talk to the camera. You can't be running your eyes up here reading and talking. That's annoying as hell to watch somebody doing that on video. What else is going on? Don't you think in the future, if I were an HR manager, well, we happen to have one here, if I had 100 pretty decent looking people for a job, might I consider asking them to send me a video as opposed to flying them in for a job interview?
Absolutely.
And man, that's easy, man. You flip the video on, you watch it for 30 seconds and say, good clown, loser. Okay? A whole lot easier than trying to be polite to people, right? Imagine you've got to, as part of a job application, submit a video of yourself on why you think you're well suited to this job, what you can do for the company. So think about it. Talk to the camera. Professional appearance. A professional setting. If you've got a library or a room in your house with some books, some nice furniture, and if you don't, go over to grandma's house. I don't care. Okay, you try to find the right location. Watch your lighting. Watch your lighting, because really lousy light is very distracting. Watch your voice. Do it a few times, see how it sounds. Some people speak too soft. Some people get too close to the camera. Some people get too far away. So there's an art to making this video, but it's not something you can't accomplish. You just got to do a little work beforehand. Okay? Some of you are going to say, well, I'm going to write out the whole script of everything I'm going to say. What's going to happen if you do that?
You're going to memorize it. You're going to go over it.
2 things will happen. One is you'll write it out and it's 10 minutes long and you'll just memorize it and go, boom, you're done in 3 minutes and 4 seconds. Ask me how I know. First seminar I ever gave privately up in Atlanta, a buddy of mine and I were doing it, and I had a 2-hour block to talk about the economics of a general location, the economic modeling. You know, what causes the economy of Gainesville to be strong or weak, to have a lot of jobs. Economist, man, I can do that, no problem. I practice it, I rehearse it, I go in, I got 2 hours, pull the string, 20 minutes later, I'm done. And I'm looking around saying, you got any questions? Please? Fortunately, my partner was very accomplished, very deft. He stepped in and got the conversation going and saved me. But if you just memorize a presentation, it's too easy to go through it too fast. And B, it's very unnatural. You don't have the natural hesitations. You don't have the natural up and down inflections in your voice. So don't memorize it. Be as natural as you can. Okay? Sir?
Would there be any examples on YouTube or anything we could pull up where people would do similar things to get some idea of what a good presentation would look like?
Well, Robin back behind you is nodding her head.
Lots.
You've seen?
More than you have time to watch.
Okay, so
Good.
you just-
And I'm sure there are some bad ones too,
Yes, and you click off of them right away and go to the next one.
just like we would do if we were doing interviews. Good. Robin?
A small group of us are going to meet at the library in a conference room because we wanted a pleasant background. Are you saying that we should do something more aesthetically pleasing, or?
I would say that for this assignment, to use a room like that, which is very plain, but at least there are no distractions, is absolutely fine. I would say if you're ever going to do one for yourself, you want it more aesthetically pleasing. Sure. Okay? I'm sorry?
The crackling fire in the background.
You bet.
Candles, music.
I wish you could. There's a fellow in our program, works here in Gainesville, named Milton Towns, and you should see Milton's video. I mean, he's sitting there. I don't think there was a fire going, but it's a fireplace in his den with nice books and you know, knickknacks, and he's holding a book and he's reading it, and the video comes on, he's there, and he closes it, and he looks over at you and says, "Hi, I'm Milton Towns." It's like somebody right off of an NPR, PBS. It's just so classy. What's wrong with that?
So you want an A&E document?
I'm sorry?
You want an A&E documentary?
An AA documentary?
An A&E.
Oh, an A. Yeah, really, just exactly. Just exactly. Okay, so we're looking for that. What about a personal values statement? What do you suppose that means? If I said, gee, as part of your job application, send in a personal value statement.
What do you stand for?
Core beliefs.
Say again?
What do you stand for? Who are
What
you?
do you stand for, core beliefs? What kind of stuff might we be looking for?
Ethics.
First, I'm looking for some indication that you can write. And I've only heard rumors of this, that there's been a few submissions that had a number of errors in them. You want to handle that?
Actually, we're gonna talk about two?
Sure.
Okay. The first writing assignment, personally, I thought most of them were excellent. I'll just say that. One of the skills that you as a manager are gonna have is interpersonal skills. That means relating to people. And from what I could read, many of you were able to connect simply by telling a little bit of story about who you are and where you came from and that kind of thing. If you're able to communicate that as you go forward in your career as a manager, it will take you a very long way. As I began to read some of the articles for the second written assignment, which is not due yet, it's supposed to be in your folder, I began to notice that rather than being interpersonal, so to speak, it was very much, I would call, textbook speak. It was like you were writing a textbook as opposed to trying to communicate your thoughts and your ideas to us as instructors. So I think that that's going to be very important for those of you who may have a chance to go back and look at your assignments that were not due yet until we tell you to turn them in.
Is there a folder on Canvas where we're supposed to be?
No, it's a personal.
Just let me be very clear about this on video. Writing assignments. If you go to the home page for the course, you open up the modules, you open up the administrative documents modules. One of the documents is called WAs and DCs.
Yes, sir.
Now, rule of thumb from now on, damn it, when you get into a new situation, a new course, a new job, you read and learn every damn thing you can within the first 24 hours about what's going on. Everything. That document tells you that for the writing assignments, there are due dates, but do not submit them until we request them by email. Now, the Canvas calendar will throw a date up there and say, hey, WA2 is due this date. That doesn't mean turn it in. It means you better have it in a folder on your computer, ready to upload it and send it to us with 24 hours notice. Okay? So that's what we're after there. Go ahead.
Go ahead first.
Oh, no. You're the student. You have priority.
Ladies first.
That's left-handed.
Yeah.
What's your question?
You seem a little ambiguous about how you want us to write. Did you want it to seem more personal, or did you want to seem more textbook? Because you just
No,
made you wonder which way
the
you
point I
want.
was making was that in many instances in the first document, I could, as I read it, I knew kind of where it was coming from, where you were coming from. From what I saw in the second document, again, it was more like I'm writing a textbook that I'm going to sell to a customer in so many instances. It was very much technical language. It wasn't natural. That's really what it boiled down
It
to.
didn't have a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that says it so well.
It didn't
You're
have
going
a
to be
voice.
submitting stuff to managers, and if it's all dry fact, they're not even going to remember who wrote it. But if it's got your voice in it,
Yeah.
that is the occasional, perhaps a little humor, the occasional personal recounting of something of how this applied, that takes on a persona all its own. And that makes your writing and you much more effective. And that's what we're driving at here. Not simply a textbook recitation.
Yeah.
I mean, you can cut and paste that. If I ever catch you cutting and pasting something, we have thrown one person out of the HSA program for that, right? That's called what?
Plagiarism.
Plagiarism.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
It's called stupid.
It's called stupid above all. So you can paraphrase, but you can bring in your own voice to it. And that's a technique, but it's a good technique to try to develop, okay? Okay, we had a couple of more hands. People were,
Wasn't the first writing assignment supposed to be like third person because it was autobiography, and then like the writing assignment 2, is there like a specific like point of view, like to write it in to make it?
I was hoping that the first one would be more, the first writing assignment would be more first person, okay? A biographical sketch about yourself, not as a third person. In future assignments, I would think that most of them will be pretty much third person.
It's as though you were writing something that you're going to present to your manager.
But it's also entirely fair to put in there your own personal comments.
Right,
In my
exactly.
view, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
In my experience, blah, blah, blah.
Personalize it.
That's a personalize it, exactly. Yes, ma'am?
I think a little of the conflict is some of us are taking professional writing.
Yeah, well, they don't know what they're doing, you know.
Well,
They keep
But-
telling us, don't say in my view.
I have Kathy Russell, and what she's trying to perfect us on is brief, kind of like advertising language. And then what I perceive you want for this side is kind of the opposite. You want it to be a smooth flowing.
I want it very smooth flowing. I want it something that as a manager, and every manager is going to vary some, that I can say, I don't know anything about this thing, social capital, give me something. Don't give me so little and so brief that I can't get into a conversation about it and talk intelligently. Don't give me 19 pages of it either, because just like you, I ain't going to read that much. But trying to find that blend is the difficult thing. So you can use bullets, breakouts, graphs, visuals, anything that helps the reader assimilate it. Ben, did you have another question?
I was gonna say, yeah, I also have Kathy Russell, and yeah, she has very much been just hammering on brevity of work.
Yep.
But yes, I do think there is a fine line between keeping something brief and actually getting your point across. Because you can definitely cut out more information than is necessary, but you don't have to overtell your story.
Personally, what I would do, if I wanted something fairly brief, I would call it a memo. Okay, give me a memo on this, and that means basically a page. But I'm going to say, usually, look, I need a memo in this, but I need some backup to it, which means I expect some additional material attached that I can explore at my leisure, but I need to know this quickly and in a hurry. So you're seeing different degrees of how much is being requested. And that's what you and I have to learn about the people we work for. How much do they really want? And I can tell you, having worked with Dr. Sasser, our college president, he does not want a lot of length. He's a very busy man. 1 or 2 short paragraphs better do it. If he's interested in knowing more, he'll let you know. Okay, that's his way of operating. I'm giving you a little bit different way of operating. Give me the extra backup material in case I need it. Okay, how are we doing?
What I've found with regarding memos and communicating with like the president of my company, I'll draft a memo and it'll be to the administration team, and I'll find that they'll read like the first paragraph or two, and then come and ask me a question. So what is about this? What I said? Didn't you read the memo? And then I have to explain it. So it's just like to get my president to read a whole page is very difficult.
Okay, that's his operating style,
Right.
and you know you've got to live with it.
So,
No, it's not.
so knowing that, when I do communicate him in written, I leave it very brief, but I try to hit all the details.
Tough to do.
Right.
Okay. What else? Anybody, anything? Sir?
I believe that one of the problems that a lot of students taking this class for the first time may be facing is that they're used to writing papers for academia, papers that really wouldn't be very easy to read in the business world. And so what you're attempting to get us to do is to try to convince our boss to do something. And we're so used to...
I'm trying to tell you the way I want it, because I think when I want more detail, I'm probably out of the norm. But if you're prepared to present more detail, you're ready. And then if the boss says, I'm not going to read all this, okay, in the future, keep the backup and make it brief. My fear is you're going to be taught to make things so brief that, think about it, at least in my view. Ignorance, there's no excuse for ignorance. That internet's got everything you want to know on it. Some of it's correct. If I want to know something and I don't have time to research it, I'm going to be asking my subordinates to give me some help on this. And when that happens, I don't want it brief. I may want a cover sheet that's a synopsis, but I want to be able to get into it and learn it in depth just in case. And I don't know whether you do that. I'm reading a couple of pretty good fiction novels right now about the history of Israel. and the history of the Arab civilization in there. And I get into that and I think, well, that's interesting, and I find myself on the internet spending an hour trying to find out who the Mufti of Jerusalem was and why he was such a big player and what happened. I think as we go along, we find little topics that intrigue us and we want to know more. And in the business world, it's the same thing. You know, I just heard about so-and-so's going to move their company into town. Sounds like they're a competitor. I need to know about it. I need a report from you in the next 48 hours. I do not need 3 paragraphs. I need to know who are these people and what are they all about. So it's a gray area. Your point's very well taken. This is not about writing high school English papers or college English papers. The other thing that we see that our educational system has done, it's taught us all to say, what do I have to do step by step by step by step by step by step by step. Not anymore. I need this, I need it by that date. You've got problems, let me know, otherwise get it done. And I see a lot of angst in all of my classes when I don't give them a whole lot of detailed direction. And we do that to you intentionally, because you will frequently not get much direction. Okay, other things, any things?